Okay. Serious. We're talking about heart issues, things that are so difficult to deal with and hard. Your heart has been ripped out. You know, a breakup. I think almost most people can say at least they've been heartbroken at some point in their life. Even if you've not been heartbroken, you have broken up with someone. And everyone knows what it feels like to go from having someone regularly in your life to you not being with them and just adjusting to that transition. So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about how to deal with a breakup and even more so heartbreak. I know what it feels like to not be happy when you stop dating someone. And I think my very, very first and most intense heartbreak was my very, very first relationship, or the person I liked, rather. I would say that. Because we weren't in a relationship, I just liked him a lot. But we were like, you know, it was like a situationship, or there was like no, we didn't identify what it was. And those are the worst heartbreaks, when you're in a situationship and you don't know that, oh boy, this person that you're with has captured your heart. And then they now say, oh, but we were just friends. And then you're like, sorry, what? Say what? We were just friends. Anyways, so the first thing you need to do when you find yourself in this situation where you're suffering or dealing with sadness, a broken heart, you've broken up with someone, is you need to remember who you are as a person. Go back to the drawing board. I remember the most severe disappointment or heartbreak that I ever went through. It was my first relationship, and it was the first person I ever liked. And I remember feeling like I had lost a part of myself when they left, when we stopped talking or we stopped dating or whatever. I just said to myself, what the heck is going on? I lost like maybe 10 kg. That's actually the first way I ever became skinny. I was in university. I mean, I'd be walking up the stairs and I'd be like, I would think about the person and I couldn't breathe because I was so distraught about the fact that this guy was no longer in my life. It was horrible. And funny enough, that's even what led me to it's what led me to become a Christian, because I was so confused. I was so depressed that I poured myself into Jesus and I started reading my Bible because I needed something to take away that pain. The pain felt excruciating. But also, you know, aside from, you know, praying and reading my Bible, what I really had to do was ask myself, who am I as a person, and what was I about before this person came into my life? I went back to the drawing board, you know. I wrote down things that I was passionate about, things that I love doing, people I love spending time with, and I really focused on those things. I focused on the things that I have rather than focusing on the things that I did not have. And I started to begin to feel more and more like myself. The second thing you need to do is you have to forgive the person. It doesn't matter what they've done to you. And I say this with all sincerity. Forgiveness is the key and the gateway to getting over any form of breakup. Now, you have to forgive yourself, forgive the person, even more so if you are a Christian, because it's the mandatory rule of law when it comes to being a believer. I have had people do things to me that are just not cool at all. Like, if I tell you guys the stories, you'll be like, yo, Malale, why you a Dundee? But fascinatingly, funny enough, you know, a lot of the people who have done the worst things to me, I'm actually really good friends with them now, because once I was able to forgive, they no longer had power over me, and what they did didn't have power over me, and it didn't hold me down. You know, there's that saying where you say, when you hold a grudge against someone, that it affects you more than it affects them, because you are not letting go to allow new energy, new opportunities, and new people into your life. You know, a lot of people have been through really, really, really treacherous things. People have done things to them that no human being who has ever claimed to love you should actually do. But I have to say, the first thing you have to do to get over someone is to forgive. And that's going to look very different for everyone. Some people are going to have to call the person and say, I forgive you. Some people are going to have to, you know, not talk about what the person has done to them to other friends. I found out a lot of times in, you know, my most intense breakup experience, the more I spoke or reported him to my friends, the more what he did festered inside of my life. It was like, ta, ta, ta. It like cemented itself into my heart. And I just remember God saying to me, babe, that's not the way to go. You reported him to me. Let this thing go. You know, and so first thing is also forgive. If you're having difficulty forgiving, I recommend praying, telling God, reporting this person to God, and trusting that it's done. You wash your hands off of it. Leave the revenge, leave the karma, leave all of that alone. Let it just go. I also think that sometimes when you actually have forgiven the person, it does not necessarily mean that you need to start talking to the person, especially if the person is not good for you. If they're not good for you spiritually, mentally, emotionally, don't let them back into your space. You've forgiven them, you've accepted their apology, you've let it go. The best way to show that you've truly forgiven someone is when you don't tell other people about what this person did to you. Because that means that you are, like, especially if it's not, let's say you meet someone and you just, okay, if you meet someone and a girl says, oh, I want to date this guy, you dated him, tell me about him. You can vaguely tell them what they did, but you don't have to go into details, because the way the person is going to treat that person might be completely different from the way they treat you. And I'm going to say it as it is. Sometimes just because someone has cheated on you doesn't mean that they're going to cheat on another person, honestly. So that's definitely one thing that I want you guys to remember. When you've truly forgiven someone, you know by the way you talk about the person. That's one of the best ways to know whether you've forgiven someone from the depth of your heart. And the last thing is, please don't try to use someone else to get over someone. Don't rebound. Rebounding is a very interesting way to get over someone. It is one that I would not recommend. I think that a lot of times we don't allow ourselves time to go through what it is that we've gone through when we go through a breakup. You know, as a guy, as a girl, as a woman, as a man, you oftentimes find yourself lonely, you find yourself missing the person, or you miss the idea of the person, because a lot of times we don't really miss the person. You know why you broke up with the person, or you know why the person broke up with you. Do you understand? So don't feel the need to immediately replace them. There's so much power in being alone and in being in a single status, because in that place, you can really understand who you are, especially after you've been in a relationship. You can learn from your mistakes and you can center yourself. I've always found that, you know, in the times where I've been single and I'm alone and I'm out of a relationship, I get really close to God because I'm focused. You know, even Paul says that it's better for someone to remain single than to be married. There's a reason why he said that thing. Because when you are single, you are focused and you don't have distractions. Human beings, we're distractions to each other. I'm not saying anything against marriage or anything. Marriage is great. God loves marriage. But I am saying that there's a lot of growth and opportunity to become a better version of yourself when you're single. So you break up with someone breaks up with you, you move to another relationship. A, you have not processed what you went through well. B, you have not identified the emotions that you're going through. And C, you, in so many ways, are using this person to fill a void, that the only person that can fill that void is Jesus. Let Jesus be your boyfriend. Let Jesus be your girlfriend. I know that sounds so weird, but you get what I mean. I think that a lot of times we use another person to fill in the gap, and it's just not a good way to go about it, because you just end up making a lot of the same mistakes. And also, you just don't allow yourself time to grow as a person. So that's my last thing. So the first thing is forgive the person. Second thing is focus on who you are. And the third thing is don't rebound. I want to hear from you guys. How have you been able to get over relationships? And a lot of the ways that I'm talking is, you know, I'm just saying that God is the best healer. God is the best therapist. You know, this is a spiritual perspective on how to deal with a relationship and get over a heartbreak. And I truly believe that God has been so amazing to me in every moment where I felt alone when I'm not in a relationship, or, you know, I've dealt with people who've betrayed me, and God has just done amazing things. Places of restorations where I'm friends with people that I've dated and I feel no animosity to them, because I actually trust and believe that if this person was meant for me, I would have ended up with them. So that's the last thing, you know, trusting and believing in God's will. If you want to find out a little bit more about how to trust and believe in God's will, that's going to be coming up in my next video. So make sure that you tune into that. It's going to be really, really good. I'm excited for that. And I want to hear from you guys. How did you deal with a breakup? What did you do? Did you eat ice cream? Funny enough, whenever I'm heartbroken, I actually can't eat. I lose weight. So the funniest thing happened. One of my friends, She said, I saw her like 2 years ago and she was so skinny. And I was like, why are you so skinny? And she said that she had just been heartbroken. And I was like, heartbreak is the best weight loss pill. You will shed that weight like, pew. All right, I'll see you guys later. Bye, don't forget to subscribe.